Hi, it's Dr. Brian McDonough, and welcome to another edition of the Best of the Dr. Brian McDonough Show.
The Dr. Brian McDonough Show.
Hi, it's Dr. Brian McDonough. If you're a Los Angeles Lakers basketball fan, you may or may not know you owe a great deal to the city of Philadelphia for your success. About to present a couple of interviews I've done. The first is with Mike Sielski. Mike Sielski is the author of a book called The Rise. It's the story of Kobe Bryant and his formative years in basketball, many of which were in Philadelphia. This book comes out in paperback on January 17th, and I think it's a really good summary of the early years of a basketball legend. But first, I want to have a conversation with Paul Westhead. This is an interview I did earlier this year based on the HBO program Winning Time. Now, Paul Westhead and I actually go way back. He was the basketball coach at LaSalle College, which is now LaSalle University, in the 1970s. The conversation is really fascinating, and essentially, we talk a great deal about the Los Angeles Lakers and how he got there and how Philadelphia played a key role in his tremendous success, which led to an NBA championship.
The Dr. Brian McDonough Show.
Hi, it's Dr. Brian McDonough. I'm here with Coach Paul Westhead. So Riley obviously has had his career, but you have had an incredible career as well. And when I think about it, it's pretty amazing. Like I said, I met you first at LaSalle. You were the coach at LaSalle, I guess, from 71 to 79, and I was there from 76 to 80 as a student. And
I tried to get you on the team, man.
You did, and I was captain of tennis, but I don't think that would have translated well. Like, you had an amazing team. I mean, you had Michael Brooks and Kurt Kanaski.
Yep.
You had a lot of really great players, Mo Conley, and you actually were starting what became your trademark, the system at that point, because you started the fast break offense while you were at LaSalle, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And
when I started it in connecting to my LaSalle years is when during those summers I was going to Puerto Rico and coaching down in Puerto Rico, and that's really where my speed game, my fast break, evolved for me. So that when I would come back and coach the regular season, I would implement different aspects of fast break. Like, for example, my little point guard, Charlie Wise. I mean, there was nobody faster than sweet Charlie Wise. I mean, he could scoot with the best of them. So, sometimes when you want a new way of playing and you then stumble into players who fit, and some of it's coincidence. Charlie Wise fit Joe Bryant was the perfect fast break big man. Joe always wanted to be a point guard and handle the ball, and we kind of let him just freewheel and get out and go. So I think people, just speaking of my LaSalle years, and of course, Michael Brooks was outstanding, and Billy Taylor and Frankie Moffitt. I mean, I have so many good guys. It's incredible, Brian. But I think Joe Bryant is a person who was better than his reputation as a college player, as a professional player. He really had greatness in him.
Joe Bryant, of course, is the father of Kobe Bryant,
Correct.
And his wife was the sister of Chubby Cox, who played for Villanova, who was a great player. So there was a lot of genes that kind of produced Kobe.
The Dr. Brian McDonough Show.
Mike Sielski is the author of The Rise, Kobe Bryant and the Pursuit of Immortality. I guess the one way you can describe it, as someone in the book said, they said every superhero needs an origin story. First of all, Mike, welcome to the program.
Brian, thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to this. I'm getting asked a lot about this book and Kobe in particular. And the first question I get asked a lot is, with Kobe, was it nature or was it nurture? And I really think it was 50-50. On the one hand, he was born into a set of circumstances and an environment that totally allowed him to flourish in the thing he wanted to do and be, which was to be a great basketball player. His father, Joe, was a great player in Philadelphia, in high school and college, and played in the NBA professionally in Italy. His mother, Pam, was a very strong-willed woman, raised devoutly Catholic, ran the household, a disciplinarian when it came to her children's educations and behavior and things like that. But both parents indulged Kobe when it came to basketball. And then you have the aspect of the family living in Italy for 8 years, coming back to live in Lower Merion Township, a very diverse suburb of Philadelphia, diverse in all the ways that matter, racially, economically, et cetera, et cetera. But then you have within Kobe, without any doubt, this singular drive that I don't know that can be explained any other way other than to say he was kind of unique in this regard, that he knew at the earliest of ages exactly what he wanted to do, exactly who he wanted to be in terms of his profession as a basketball player, and was willing to become that, do what was necessary to become that thing in a way that is so rare, almost sui generis to anybody. The idea that he would ice his knees after playing pickup basketball against his peers because he had seen his father and other professional players doing that. And there's this total kind of lack of self-consciousness when it comes to basketball in his life at all stages of his life. So I think it's both. Where does that come from? I think it was naturally within him, and I think it was the environment and setting that allowed him to kind of pursue that passion. Yeah, and I think you're raising kind of an interesting dynamic in Kobe's development, Brian, which is if he hadn't been so driven, if he had just kind of settled for, okay, well, I grew up in Lower Merion for part of my youth, and the other part of it, I lived in Italy, and I got to observe these basketball players that my dad was playing with, and the way that they played, and I learned a little bit from them. I don't think he would have been the athlete and the player that he turned out to be. I think he inherently understood once the family, moved back to the Philadelphia area in particular, but even before that, when the family would come home every summer to spend some time in Wynwood and then go back to Italy for Joe's basketball season, Kobe was playing in the Sunny Hill League and playing in courts around the city even then. And I think he inherently understood, I have to test myself against the best of the best to get to be where I want to be as a player. And the best of the best was going to be in Philadelphia. It was going to be in the Sunny Hill League. There's an anecdote in the book, which, I can't take credit for. Other people have reported it, but he played one summer in the Sunny Hill League when he was 11 or 12 years old and didn't score a single point. Did no free throw, no, late game layup and a blowout, nothing. And he took that as a learning experience. He felt like he had embarrassed his father, embarrassed his uncle Chubby Cox, embarrassed the Bryant family name when it came to basketball. And it made him more resolute and determined to come back and keep testing himself against those kinds of players. And he turned out to be better than all of them because he tested himself against them at such a young age.